As to my decision, I have only two options depending on my findings, and that is whether or not I will approve the creation of Kirtland School District. While Article 4 of the Public School Code provides the PED 10 days after public hearing to make a decision on the proposed consolidation of two school districts, it provides no guidance on how much time is permitted to make a decision after a public hearing on the proposed creation of a new district. We believe, however, that it is reasonable for the PED to take up to 10 days from today to issue a final written decision. That is so that we can receive and review the transcript if necessary, as well as to review the relevant documents in depth. We do not ask either party to submit any post-hearing documents, but you can if you wish, and neither party will be penalized if they don't. Any such documents should be submitted within 5 days of today. That is arriving at the PED by May 21st, 2012. Documents you might consider to submit are a requested findings and facts and rulings of law and/or a closing argument. You do not have to commit either way on submitting such post-hearing documents. Before we commence the hearing presentations, Mr. Manning, please indicate if you wish to reserve any time for rebuttal, and if so, how much time?
We'll attempt 10. We'll try to watch.
Mr. Manning, as the petitioner, please proceed with your presentation. You have 35 minutes, 45 total, less the 10 minutes that you are saving for your rebuttal. You may call anyone you like to assist you.
If we can get the lights right. Hopefully it's warming up. Thank you, Secretary Skandera, for the opportunity being here today. Okay. All right. We thank you for the opportunity of being here today, representing the Kirtland community. What we're here for is parent choice. The PED in its vision believes that we should provide effective options for parents. Governor Martinez has pushed on that area that parents are to get choice in their children's schools, and the PED mission includes one of those as their 5 strategic imperatives. We believe that by creating this district, we will have the opportunity of having greater choice as parents. But why are we here? As you spoke to, even this morning I was confirmed by the KOB reporter who said that the district had affirmed that they had been assured that this was for show only. But we're going to carry forward and show why we're here. But we're here because the parents in the community spoke up. Over 3,000 signatures. That is difficult. It's almost a level that is impossible to hit. In the last 30 years, maybe one attempt that's made it besides us. It's been tried many times, but trying to get 60% of the voters, particularly when the voter rolls have not been scrubbed in 10 years, makes it very difficult to find them. And whether they live in Texas or not does not matter. They count against you. Many community and parent members are here, even though we're at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday. I believe it'll continue to fill as we move on. What do we want? We want our own district for the entire Kirtland Central High School attendance area, including the schools of Grace B. Wilson, Kirtland Early Childhood Center, Kirtland Elementary School, Kirtland Middle School, Kirtland Central High School, Ojo Amarillo, and Ruth N. Bond Elementary School. Who are we? We are a distinct community made up of many communities. Fruitland, Kirtland, Nananizan, Ojo Amarillo, Upper Fruitland, and Waterflow. But yet we're all Kirtland Broncos. We are different races, Native American, Anglo, and Hispanic, yet one community of Kirtland Broncos. Our grandparents grew up together our parents grew up together, we grew up together, and our children and our grandchildren will grow up together as Kirkland Broncos. What will we show you today? We will show you that the charge of Voting Rights Act violations is not valid and has no standing. We will show that national research shows that parent involvement increases as district size decreases. We'll show that national research shows that graduation rates increase as district size decreases. National research shows that the smaller districts are a smarter return on investment. National research shows that the optimal district size is between 1,500 and 3,300 students. What will we show also? New Mexico data shows that the smaller districts graduate more students than the larger districts. New Mexico data shows that districts of 1,500 to 4,000 students cost the least per graduate in the state of New Mexico. New Mexico data shows that 2 districts of 3,000 students are cheaper to run than 1 district of 6,000 students. New Mexico data shows that the average high school dropout earns $10,000 less than a high school graduate. That's a lot to show. We're going to talk fast and try to show it, but those tie in to the vision, the mission of the PED, and the end objective of a school district is what? It is to graduate our students. If we have 10,000 students and we only cost 10 cents for each student, but we graduate none, that is not effective. What we want to look at is what is effective, what works the best for students, what produces the greatest graduation rates, the greatest participation in college, the least dollars at administrative level. We'll begin moving into that first area.
Good afternoon, Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, the petitioner has asked me, my name is Tyson Quayle, an attorney with Faulkner and Cornett Law Offices here in Farmington. They've asked me to speak today on the Voter Rights Act and the threat of litigation that has been made and argued throughout the written arguments that have been filed with the PED. The leading case on voter delusion is Thornburg v. Jingles, 1986, and that was in the written arguments. The United States Supreme Court decided that case in 1986 on the sole issue of voter delusion. And in deciding that case, it's out of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, they stated that they now have a 3-pronged test to decide whether voter delusion is occurring. And in that, the first element, as you see, states that it's the minority population in a political subdivision is sufficiently large and geographically compact to constitute a majority in a single member district. Now let me reiterate, the petitioner is not asking if it were to be granted a new school district to have an at-large district. They're asking that single member districts within that school district be created, therefore allowing minority groups to have the fullest and absolute most power at the voting polls as possible. The second element is that minority group is politically cohesive. In other words, they're united and that they are one group, well integrated. And the third is that the Anglo or Caucasian vote forms basically is sufficient enough to form a block that the minority group or groups basically are defeated at the polls and they do not have their preferred candidate elected. That is the test. That is what the United States Supreme Court says that a person or group that files a complaint must prove the burden to meet those 3 elements. The petitioner's argument is that that is not possible in this given case. And let me just say, the threat of litigation should not weigh into the consideration today as part of whether a new school district should be created. Secretary, you're correct. The interest or the issue today solely is whether the best interest of the children, and that's the education, would be met. So the threat shouldn't even come into play. Now, as far as the 3 elements, we have statistics that back up that the three elements can be met. As the petitioner has argued, they're asking for Plan B to be created, the new school district under Plan B. That would be the Kirtland Central area along with Ojo Amarillo, or Ojo Amarillo area. Why is that? Well, that's because Ojo area has always attended the Kirtland schools. They've gone there from the beginning, and with the new district under Plan B, they would continue to go to the exact same schools they always have. If Plan B, the school district, were to be granted, 61 to 64% of the population of that school district would be Native American. 29% would be Anglo or Caucasian, and 10%, just under 10%, would be Hispanic. As you can see, the Native American population, which, even though it's a majority in the school district, is considered a minority group, would still have a majority of the population. Therefore, they would not be able to argue or prove that they could be defeated at the polls and a bloc by Anglo or even Hispanic population could form a political bloc so that their candidates would be defeated. Now, through the U.S. Census Bureau statistics, 2000 through 2010, we have the census numbers. Since 2000 to 2010, in that decade alone, the Kirtland area, the growth of Native Americans was 35.5% growth in 10 years. Anglos or Caucasians grew by 8.5%. And then Hispanics grew by 52.1%. As you can see, just in a short time frame, one decade, the population, even though, again, Anglo or Caucasian is considered in the legal world the majority group, they would be the minority, and they would be far outnumbered with the minority populations of Native Americans and Hispanics.